Good morning. It's 4th of July week. Can you imagine it? And a lot of activities. My wife and I plan to go to a musical as well as at least one fireworks show and enjoy time with family and friends as we remember the heritage of our country and the cost it was to obtain that freedom. Lots to think about in that whole scenario. But it's week 7 for congregational culture, dynamics of congregational culture and ministry. Lots to think about, and the reading in Branson Martinez will further expand your perspectives and give you some things to think about and perhaps disagree with or strongly agree with, question how you'll implement it, and then Congregational Exegesis Part 2 is really a superb presentation. Then the congregational interview. It's a very important interview. It's interviewing 4 to 7 people in one setting. It's not catching 4 to 7 individuals on the phone after church, texting, email. No, it's 4 to 7 people, 4 to 7, in one setting, in an interview that lasts minimally 60 minutes. And then you can read about the introduction that you're to explain who the people are, where it took place, how long that was. And then as you courtesy act is to give them the questions ahead of time so you don't blindside them with anything. And then when you write up your report, you will put those questions that are in Blackboard in bold and underlined, and that becomes your structure for your paper that you will submit. I will send you a document with some ideas that I've accumulated over the years about how to deal with the group dynamics. There are some people who will speak up first, and then everybody else is reluctant to respond differently by Uncle Bill. In a recent class, I had a student who had a great interview going, and a young mother suggested there were some needs to modify the nursery and preschool ministry, and Power Broker really objected. And in many ways, the interview was over emotionally. People could answer questions, but it was a sad situation. I hope you don't encounter something like that. But when dealing with people and people with sin natures, that's always a possibility. Unwritten church rules is a funny question because for most of us, we say we don't have any. The reason is that's the way we do things. So it's is it okay to wear a baseball cap into the worship service? Can I talk on my telephone during this service? Can I chew gum? That's all sorts of interesting things. So those are things to think clearly about. What a visitor does not know when they walk into your church and worship service. Sometimes it's where the bathrooms are. Sometimes it's where the nursery is. So you need to think through those things. And then you need to complete your interview by Friday evening, as I've told you all term, so that you can participate in the discussion boards. The first discussion board is what have you learned about your congregation through the interview process? What do you discern about the comparison and contrast the vision of the pastor and the congregation, as well as just other aspects? That's number 1. And discussion board number 2 is which questions were easiest and which one were harder. Did any of them make them feel uncomfortable? And why do you think that's so? So, important interview. The assignments for 5, 6, and 7 are worth 8% each of your final grade, and your final paper next week is worth 16% of your grade. So you can see that you are in the process of earning about 50% of your grade in these last 3 weeks. So, 4 weeks. God bless you as you work on this week.